you should be able to...
Right to it. We are going to... Pardon me there. There it is.
It's going to be a good day.
Yes. I'll squeeze in here. So far, I have looks like two people may be there, but no one has
commented.
commented.
Right. Here we got, well, one of them's you.
One of them is me. That's
I have
right.
another person.
You. It can't be actually. It was just.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Two
Hello,
people,
everybody.
you and me.
Unknown viewer?
There may be two unknowners. I have three.
Two unknown viewers. Well,
Possibly.
welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome to our show.
Yes.
I'm glad you came by. Leave us a comment and tell us who you are and where you're from. We'd love to hear from you.
And what time is it? You are the keeper of the time.
No.
And I need to...
I am the forgetful passer of the clock. There
okay.
you go.
I shall be the keeper of the time. It's such an important sounding.
Oh, hey.
Oh, Pinkie Pie, good morning from BC. Hello.
Oh, hello from British Columbia.
Yes, so good to have you.
Welcome. Thanks for coming by.
Yes, welcome, welcome.
It's nice to see you, Pinkie. Wow, we already have an international audience. How about that?
Yes. And Charles Benjamin Harris. Hi, Benji.
Hey,
he
Ben.
says, I'm here.
Hey.
Good, thank you. Good to see you.
Yes, indeed.
Yay.
I see you stayed away from the Poke Salad Festival.
Oh, and Ziggy is here. Hi,
Hello,
George
Ziggy.
And Lynn. Greetings
Guten Abend.
again from Germany.
Yes, indeed. Wonderful to have you with us, Ziggy.
And Pinkie says, love the Autoharp.
Good. Do you play?
This is a good question.
Well,
yes.
I kind of liked it. It just popped into my mind. This is our kind of signature.
Oh, Pinkie said, my friends do. Old souls.
Okay. Yes. Good. Okay. Well,
we have 1 o'clock right now.
All right. We have a very nice show lined up for you this afternoon. And it's one we think you're really going to like. We've got a couple of requests that we're going to hold off on until and unless the people who asked for the songs come by.
Bob Hale is here.
Hello, Bob.
You lovely
Wonderful to see
couple.
you.
Bob and Bren.
Bob and Bren.
It's now 7:00 p.m. here.
Thank you for allowing us to have dinner with you over there in the
Yes.
UK.
Indeed.
On the border between Norfolk and Suffolk.
Yes.
Okay, so we need to move down. We'll kick off this afternoon with a song by Tom Paxton called This Great Land of Ours. I cleared the rocks and timbers from the wild New England shore. I cleared the rocks and timbers from the wild New England shore. I labored long and hard to make it grow. I built the first log cabins and I raised a family. Told King George and all his redcoats where to go. Sorry, Pinky. I'm the man who built the bridges. I'm the man who laid the track. I'm the man that built this country with my shoulders and my back. I'm the man that built the power dams and oiled all the cars. And I laid down the cornerstone for this great land of ours. I built the first sod shanties and I raised the prairie towns. I made the railroads run from sea to sea. I built and ran the factories, cut the timber for your homes, and the mining towns are there because of me. I'm the man who built the bridges, I'm the man who laid the track. I'm the man that built this country with my shoulders and my back. I'm the man that built the power dams and oiled all the cars. And I laid down the cornerstone for this great land of ours. I stoked the mighty furnaces and rolled the flaming steel. I operated oil rigs and wells. And when the country needed them, I built the planes and tanks to send the tyrants down to fry in hell. I'm the man who built the bridges. I'm the man who laid the track. I'm the man that built this country with my shoulders and my back. I'm the man that built the power dams and oiled all the cars. And I laid down the cornerstone for this great land of ours. My face may not be pretty and my clothes are not the best, but there ain't no big shots in my family tree. And if you're wondering who it was that made this country great, you don't have to look no further, it was me. I'm the man who built the bridges, I'm the man who laid the track. I'm the man that built this country with my shoulders and my back. I'm the man that built the power dams and oiled all the cars. And I laid down the cornerstone for this great land of ours. And I laid down the cornerstone for this great land of ours.
Pat Byrne is here. Great to see you.
Hello,
back
Pat
on.
from Ireland.
Hi.
Welcome, sir.
And Ziggy. It's already 8 p.m. here, but I spent the late morning and the whole afternoon at the virtual UK Autoharp Day together with Brenda and Bob Hale and Hillary Robinson, too.
Oh, wonderful.
Wow. People are starting to get back together again.
Yeah, that's
well, this
good
was
thing.
virtual.
Well, this was virtual,
but
you know, to me, that's almost as good. Yeah. I mean, it's better than not doing anything at all. And I'm sorry I missed that. I meant to attend, but things came up around here, and I couldn't make it. Okay. Anyway, I'm glad a good time was had by all. Here's a song that I did last Saturday night at a song circle. It was originally recorded and I believe written by a guy named Don Bowman, who is just a great representative of corny comedy. And then Jim Stafford made a hit with it about 10 or 12 years later. Don did it in 1962 or 3 on his album Our Man in Trouble. And Jim Stafford did it in 73, I think. It's called Wildwood Weed. And it gives me a chance to play what every auto harper wants to play. hopefully better than that. This stuff grew wild in our yard back home. We never give it much thought. We guessed his weeds or some kind of flowers, didn't know what it was called. Then one day I was standing there talking, reached down for a weed to chew on. Things got fuzzy, and then they got blurred. Then everybody was gone. When I come to, my brother was there, and he asked me what was wrong with my eyes. I told him his glasses from chewing them weeds, figured he'd give it a try. Spent the rest of the day and all that night just looking for my brother Bill. Then we seen him, sitting there singing, naked on top of the windmill. Next day we picked a big bunch of them weeds, put them in the sun to dry. Then we cleaned them, mashed them up, smoked them in a corncob pipe. We noticed some missing from the yard one day and knew somebody'd been in our crop. For a man who never smiled at all, Paul was sure guilty of a lot. Wasn't long till the word got round, people was coming from miles. They always got there scrapping and quarreling, but when they left, they was all smiles. It is real easy to find our place, all you had to do is follow the smoke. For 50 miles, any direction, never met such friendly, happy folks. Of course, all good things gotta come to an end. It is the same with our weeds. Some guy from Washington dropped by one day. He turned white as a sheet. Well, he burned and he dug and he dug and he burned and he killed all our cute little weeds. Drove away, we just smiled and waved, sitting there on that sack of seeds.
Pat said, "It's getting better over here," and Lavonda is with us.
Hello, Lavonda.
She said, "Hi guys, I made it. Great to see you."
Oh,
good to have
yeah.
you.
We gotta. I'm gonna get with you. We'll set up a phone call.
And Ivan is here. Hi,
Hello,
folks.
Ivan.
Good to see you. And Stan Johnson from
Stan from Ohio.
Happy 40th anniversary. And
Oh my.
Pat Byrne says it's raining here now, and Dan Wolking. Dan is with us, running a few minutes behind, but finally got here. And Philippa is here.
Hey, Philippa.
Made it.
And you made it, and your comment got through and everything. All
said
right.
That was an old favorite that you just played. Ours too.
Yeah, I was in a song circle Saturday night, kind of an open mic on Zoom, and the topic of legal marijuana came up, and I wasn't going to play that, and I did because of that, and then I thought, well, what the heck,
Yes, let's
we'll play it again. And Ivan, your CDs arrived yesterday, and buddy, you cost me half a night's sleep. I was sitting there listening to them, and the next thing I know, Lulu is saying, "Are we ever going to bed?"
Oh.
I listened to Round Pickering Bend and Promises Kept and the Acoustic Coot CD. Folks, Ivan does a concert every Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on his page, Ivan Styles. Man, if you want to hear some good Autoharp playing and some old-time folk music, that's the place to be. He and Miss Nancy have a great time, and if you want a CD, I'm sure Ivan could fix you up, and it's well worth the money. They're really good, and I'm glad I bought them. Philippa is here, so I guess we'll go back up here, and we will play her request. Nobody knows you when you're down and out. Once I lived the life of a millionaire, Spent all my money, Lord, like I didn't care. Treating my friends out for a mighty good time, buying them fancy liquor, champagne and wine, and then I began to fall so low. I didn't have no money and no place to go. I ever get my hands on a dollar again, I'm gonna hang on to it till that eagle grins, 'cause nobody knows you when you're down and out. In your pocket you haven't got a penny. As for your friends, well, there ain't too many. If I ever get back on my feet again, everybody wants to be my long-lost friend. It's mighty strange, without a doubt, how nobody knows you when you're down and out. Then I began to fall so low. I didn't have no money and no place to go. I ever get my hands on a dollar again, I'm gonna hang on to it till that eagle grins, 'cause nobody knows you when you're down and out. In your pocket you haven't got a penny. As for your friends, well, there ain't too many. I ever get back on my feet again, everybody wants to be my long-lost friend. It's mighty strange, without a doubt, how nobody knows you when you're down and out. I mean, when you're down and out.
We had Flip said old favorite was the last I read, and then Pat said, so how are you doing?
We're doing wonderful.
Yes.
Lynn's flower garden is in full bloom. She finally got to have some flowers.
Finally.
We've been working on that for years, and something always happens. Storms, or our lawn service mows them down. Or, I mean, it's been rough.
But now it's working
this
out.
year it's working out. We've got peonies and roses and lilies and all kind of beautiful flowers. And I'm doing good. We are working on the endowment to make a CD. Don't know if we'll get done in time. We got some questions, but we're working on it. And oh, by the way, this is probably the last time you're going to see this set. With this background and all this stuff here, tomorrow we're gonna have a great rearrangement of our house here, and
furniture and such.
We're gonna set up a different place to shoot this. So this is the last one from here, unless something goes real wrong.
Ivan said thanks for the plugs, and
oh, you're welcome.
Kurt Gleason is here.
Hey, Kurt!
Great tune on that last one, Down and Out. And John Wendling, congratulations on the Big 4 IR, your series.
Yeah, the 40th in our concert. That's what they're talking about.
Oh, okay.
The Big 4-0, it's the 40th in our series.
I see. And then Bob Hale, we have been on the UK Autoharp Zoom Day, about 7 hours. I told everyone to watch your show tonight.
Well, thank you, Bob. Thank you very much.
And Lavonda said, yes, we will set a time soon. And Pinky, love your singing style, George. Reminds me of listening to an old-fashioned phonograph, maybe 78s.
Oh, no. Thank you, I think.
No, I think very nice thing. And Pat said, yes, you can't beat that. And so thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
All the comments.
No problem, Ivan. You've earned them.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see here. Here's a song that I used to do a lot when I was younger. It's by a guy named C.W. McCall, and it's called CJ5. Back in the 60s and 70s, the American Motors Corporation, who owned Jeep after Willys sold it to them, made a series of vehicles called CJs, civilian Jeeps. And the CJ5 was the most popular of those. I think they did do a 7, but it didn't catch on. And this thing, I mean, you could take the top off and the doors off, and it could look like a World War II style Jeep. Here's a song about a CJ5. Well, we went screaming through the valley where the Nishnabotney flows, through the mud and crud and cornfields where the marijuana grows, across the railroad tracks of Persia, up the hills and down the dales. Had a CJ5 with a 4-wheel drive and Smokey on my tail. He picked me up at exit 12 on the I-680 ramp. I was doing 67 per when I rumbled through his trap. He commenced to whirl at his flashing lights and he made his siren wail. I slipped on down to 4-wheel drive with Smokey on my tail. I had racing stripes and dual pipes and Smokey had a Ford. Had a mill with a 4-pot carb, you know, but Smokey stroked the board. Well, the chase is on, but I got the edge and a rig that'll never fail. Got a CJ5 with a 4-wheel drive and Smokey on my tail. Well, we went screaming through the valley where the Nishnabotney flowed, through the mud and crud cornfields where the marijuana grows, across the railroad tracks of Persia, up the hills and down the dales. Had a CJ5 with a 4-wheel drive and Smokey on my tail. Yeah, he was. Mercy. Don't hit that fellow with the Autoharp. Gonna swim this creek now, Smokey. Yard wide and a foot deep. The Nishnabotney River, they call it. I might have to winch out. Gonna do a wheelie on this gopher mound now, Smokey. Can't you dig it, Smokey? Got 4 on the floor and 4 in the air on that one, didn't we? Mercy sakes. Like to bust my shocks. Now that Jeep of mine made Smokey whine. His rig was made of lead. He was mired in 14 feet of mud, but he radioed ahead. I came up on the pavement and went crashing through the rail. Sakes alive, I had 25 more Smokies on my tail. But I had racing stripes and dual pipes, and Smokey had a Ford. Lots of Fords. Had a mill with a 4-pot carb, you know, but Smokey stroked the board. Well, the chase is on, but I got the edge and a rig that'll never fail. That CJ5 with a 4-wheel drive is sitting out back of the jail. Yes, indeed.
Catching back up here, Ivan said at least Pinky didn't say an old cylinder recording.
That's true.
Hillary said hi to Ziggy.
Hello,
and so
Hillary.
Hillary is here, and Linda Saviard, we love this one. Ivan Stiles, I had a CJ5, loved it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. I always wanted one.
I figured if of all people that I know who might have owned one, you'd be it.
Yes. Or maybe Philippa would have.
Yeah. Philippa had a Scout.
She had a Scout.
She had an
which is
international
more rugged,
Scout.
A rugged vehicle.
Yes, sir.
I remember that.
We went everywhere and did everything in that car.
And
Me
Pat
and her
Burns
and Lynn and 2 Great Danes and my Doberman Pinscher Guide dog. Go ahead.
Oh, Pat said that's a great song. And
Thank you, Pat.
Kurt Gleason, oh, I know the punchline to this fun song. And Hillary said, hi, George and Lynn, sorry to be late.
Oh, I know where you were.
Oh.
People told me where you were, so that's all right. We'll let you by.
And Ivan said, are you drinking sassafras tea, Lynn? No. I'm not drinking sassafras tea.
No.
I have some water and a little wine.
A
there.
little glass of red wine.
Red wine. And let's see. Dan said, love this song. Quick sonic comment, might get a little closer to the vocal mic. And
I see what happened. It
has it drifted?
Turned out of position here.
Okay.
Thanks, Dan. There. Now it's where it belongs. Hopefully that'll be better.
Earlier, Philippa had said that to Lavonda that it had been a while, but hi to her. And then Lavonda said, hi, Philippa. Yes, at least 40 years. And Benji said, been a while since you played that one. And and Bob Hale said, nice one, George. And
thank you.
Philippa said, I miss Miss Mabel, the Scout.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we do too. And Pat said, oh, I like the hat.
Oh, thank you.
Very good for you, wine. And Flip said, bottle of wine, fruit of the vine. Yes, that's a good one.
Bottle of wine, fruit of the vine. When you gonna let me get sober? Let me alone, let me go home. Let me go back and start over. Rambling around this dirty old town, singing for nickels and dimes. Time's getting tough, I ain't got enough to buy me a bottle of wine.
Bottle of wine, fruit of the vine. When you gonna let me get sober? Let me alone, let me go home. Let me go back and start over.
Little hotel, older than hell, dark as the coal in the mine. Blankets are thin, I lay there and grin, 'cause I got a little bottle of wine.
Bottle of wine, fruit of the vine. When you gonna let me get sober? Let me alone, let me go home. Let me go back and start over.
Well, a preacher will preach, a teacher will teach, a miner will dig in the mine. I ride the rods, trusting in God, hugging my bottle of wine.
Bottle of wine, fruit of the vine. When you gonna let me get sober? Let me alone, let me go home. Let me go back and start over. Love it.
Write that down so I know we played it.
Okay. I got a few comments here too. Pat said, oh, like the hat. And Pat said, very good for you, wine. And Flip said, bottle of wine. I read that. And
Yeah.
Bob said, say hi to Ziggy. He played amazing calypso set today on open stage at UK Autoharp Day.
I wish I'd heard that.
And Hillary said, you know where I was? The UK Autoharp Day?
Yes, indeed.
I'm auto-harped out, she said. Just going to lie here and listen with a smile face. And
enjoy, Hillary. You've earned it.
yes, and Pat said, I am having Guinness, also good.
Yes, I
little dark.
have been known to drink a Guinness or two now and then, but the
Yes.
stupid people over here always
They
chill it.
Chill it down.
And it ruins it. Even if you warm it back up, it's not right. And I can't get it across to them. You don't chill Guinness.
No.
You just don't.
And Bob Hale, Bren, and I have a bottle of wine watching your show.
Oh,
and
good.
Philippa said, song always reminds me of Preacher and Mad Dog 2020.
Yes, indeed.
It does bring him to mind. And Bob said, I mean show, too much wine. he misspelled that, but I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Deborah Lynn Brace McGinnis is
Hello,
here.
Deborah.
Hi, Lynn and
Welcome.
George.
Wonderful to see you.
And then Flip said, think I'll get my Guinness. And Pat said, yes, you're right. Well, it's good to see you, Deborah. Many fans of the wine.
Indeed. And of beer.
And of the beer, yes.
Today, I don't usually do this, but today I'm actually drinking an 8% beer. So we'll see if it has any adverse effect or a salubrious effect on my playing.
Yes.
Okay. Where am I?
I also have water to drink, too.
Yes, indeed. Lots of good songs. This is another Don Bowman tune. It's called That'll Never Sell Records. And I think most of us are old enough to know what records are and how you had to be pretty well established to cut one and everything. And this is Don's take on that whole industry. I wrote the prettiest song in the world about this boy that loved this girl. They fell in love and all that stuff, but somehow that just wasn't enough. 'Cause when I took it to RCA, they listened a minute and then I heard them say, that'll never sell records. Mighty pretty though, but that's serious stuff. It ain't selling this year. This true love. That serious stuff, it ain't selling this year. Ride it over and then let us hear. And them happy endings just gotta go. Back to the drawing board I went. Find more trouble them kids get in. They decided to run off somewhere and wed. Their parents wanted them to wait instead. They eloped, found the justice of the peace. They saying I do, and then walked the police. They was underage, so they told a lie. The preacher, he had a grabber and died. The kids were taken back home to stay, and I took my song back to RCA. That'll never sell records. Mighty pretty though, but that's serious stuff. It ain't selling this year. Ride it over and then let us hear. And them happy endings just gotta go. Well, I was beginning to wonder if I could write a hit. Thought I'd try once more before I quit. This boy and girl, they met in the bar, had a few drinks and then stole a car. Didn't like each other. They sure weren't in love, but they sure were married when they sobered up. So they got a divorce. On the way back, when the car stopped dead on the railroad tracks, it is freezing cold. He held her tighter, burned her arm on the cigarette lighter. Temperature dropped to 40 below. Train was coming with a final blow. It looked like the end of a perfect day, so I took my song back to RCA. Now that'll sell records. 4 million or so. See, that's serious stuff. It ain't selling this year. This true love junk's what they want to hear, and them happy endings just gotta go. Moving awful slow. Somebody don't get it. The record ain't gonna sell.
I have one from Philippa that says the Autoharp is overpowering your voice. So I wonder if you still don't have your mic set for your voice quite right.
It's possible, but I don't want to get plosives. Let's see here.
It seems a little bit.
I think. Let's try that. Thanks, Philippa.
Thank you.
I thought that earlier when we did the level check, too. I'll tell you what. I don't normally do this mid-show, but...
Well, you've had 2 folks tell you.
Yeah, I know. I changed all these settings on my mixer because I was trying to do demos for the endowment. Let me turn my voice up just a little bit there. All right. I don't want to turn this into a techie session, but let me know if that's better. If I don't hear from you, I'll assume it's better. And if it's not, then let me know.
Flip said missed about half the words on that one.
Oh, sorry about that. Anybody else having that issue? All right. This is a song that was done by a guy named Cliff Foray. Yeah, and his album, a 1956 album, 56 now, called Cafe Comedy. And it's all about, well, I won't tell you because it'll ruin the song. This is called Ain't It a Beauty? Well, there ain't many men who are lucky enough to have one as long as mine. The thing is as old as I am, but still it's a-doing fine. Many's the time when I was afraid 'twas going on the blink, but then upon closer scrutiny it proved to be in the pink. I've always treated it carefully and don't leave it lying about. Before I put it away I still remember to shake it out. And if I should ever be too weak to hold it in the air, I've instructed me wife to handle it with tender loving care. Oh, ain't it a beauty? And I have used it proudly all me life. Oh, ain't it a beauty? Now if you don't believe me, ask me wife. Danny O'Toole came calling one day to tell me that he had heard that mine was bigger than his was, and he didn't believe a word. So I bet him a buck and took him outside and laid it in the street. He couldn't believe it when he saw 'twas over 100 feet. One summer I happened to be out of work, and during me leisure hours I'd do a good turn by using it to water the neighbor's flowers. I met a young lass who needed it bad and used it for a week. Though it was abused for days on end, it never began to leak. Well, I've used it a lot in the summer, I've used it a lot in the fall, but I'm willing to bet in the springtime I've used it the most of all. I've used it in December on a cold and wintry day, and written me name in a snowbank that was over a block away. Oh, ain't it a beauty? All the fellas envy my technique. Oh, ain't it a beauty? They hate me every time they take a peek. No, I must admit that it hasn't been used for 4 or 5 months or more, but it's hanging there just as ready as it ever has been before. And you can be sure that I will still be using it for years, 'cause it's the finest length of garden hose they ever sold at Sears.
Kurt said pretty clear for me, and then Flip said sounds good now. Both sound clear now. And
Okay,
Pat
good.
said now he much better.
Okay.
So
Thank you, guys.
I think that you're doing good now.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I'm sorry. Read that first comment you read again.
was pretty clear for me was
No, before that.
Missed about half of the words.
No, okay.
Sounds better now.
Okay.
Both sound
Good.
and Pat said George is doing great with that song.
Thank you. The first time I heard that, I heard it on an American syndicated radio show called Dr. Demento. And we were imbibing a little bit and smoking a little bit and sitting around listening to Dr. Demento, and I heard this song and I'm going, my God, how do they let this on the radio? Right. And I just thought it was great, and then I recorded every Dr. Demento show until he played it again, and I got a recording of it, and I learned it. Because you just, you're like, what?
And it's also innocent.
Yeah.
It really is.
And it's all, his whole shtick was like that.
Yeah.
He had a song called Rosie, Please Don't Bang on the Piano, if you get my drift.
That was a funny one, too.
Yeah. And Joe's got the biggest joint in town and stuff like that. Here's a song, kind of a bluegrass number by Jim and Jesse called Diesel on My Tail. I just pulled onto the highway in my little foreign car. Well, it's raining and the road is really bad. I never saw that big old diesel, but I heard him hit the air. I got a feeling that I might have made him mad. He closed the gap between us, put the pedal on the floor. He's making 90 in that big old diesel truck. I can hear the names he's calling me above the engine's roar, and the word will not be found in Webster's book. There's a diesel on my tail making 90 miles an hour. My reflection in my mirror's mighty pale. I can hear St. Peter calling, I can almost smell the flowers. Can this compact take the impact? There's a diesel on my tail. Well, I'm huffing and a puffing, and I'm trying to make the grade. Lord, I wish they had some pedals on this car. I'm trembling and a-shaking, I'm slipping and a-sliding, but afraid to touch the brake, for this doodlebug could never stand the jar. There's a diesel on my tail making 90 miles an hour. My reflection in my mirror's mighty pale. I can hear St. Peter calling, I can almost smell the flowers. Can this compact take the impact? There's a diesel on my tail. Well, I'm slipping and a-sliding, trying to hold it on the road. Lord, I tell you, I just gotta win this race. While I'm trembling and a-shaking, he's pouring on the coal. He's so close that I could steal his license plate. There's a diesel on my tail making 90 miles an hour. My reflection in my mirror's mighty pale. I can hear St. Peter calling, I can almost smell the flowers. Can this compact take the impact? There's a diesel on my tail. Can this compact take the impact? There's a diesel on my tail.
Pat said George is doing great with that song was the last one. And then Linda Saviard said, I'll never forget the first time I heard it when you played it for my mom. My jaw was on the floor.
Yeah.
That's the Garden Hose song.
Yeah.
And then Pat said, oh, you don't smoke, do you? Not good at all. That was a then thing, not a
That was a then
that was
thing.
A then, yes, not a now.
We outgrew that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
We got
back
past
in the
that.
day.
Here is a Tom Paxton tune. I rarely get through one of these shows without playing one of Tom's. And this is called Buy a Gun for Your Son. Hallelujah, dads and mommies, cowboys, rebels, yanks and commies, buy yourself some real red-blooded fun. If you want to make the grade, you gotta have a hand grenade and a fully automatic GI gun. Oh, buy a gun for your son right away, sir. Shake his hand like a man and let him place her. Let his little mind expand, place a weapon in his hand, for the skills he learns today will someday pay, sir. Pound that kid into submission till he mastered nuclear fission. Buy him plastic warheads by the score. Once he's got that taste of blood, he's gonna sneak up on his buddies, starting his own thermonuclear war. Oh, buy a gun for your son right away, sir. Shake his hand like a man and let him place her. Let his little mind expand, place a weapon in his hand, for the skills he learns today will someday pay, sir. Buy him khakis and fatigues and sign him up in little leagues and give him calisthenics as a rule. Once you banish fear and dread, you pat his 7-year-old head and send him off to military school. Oh, buy a gun for your son right away, sir. Shake his hand like a man and let him place her. Let his little mind expand, place a weapon in his hand, for the skills he learns today will someday pay, sir. Once he's grown to be a man, he might get tired of blasting granny, then you'll see a crisis coming on. Don't get worried, don't get nervous, send that kid into the service, let him rise into the Pentagon. At the Pentagon he'll rise, the president he will advise, his reputation growing all the while. With your picture on the wall, he'll get that long-awaited call and press the firing button with a smile. Oh, buy a gun for your son right away, sir. Shake his hand like a man and let him place her. Let his little mind expand, place a weapon in his hand, for the skills he learns today will someday pay, sir.
Yes.
That's one of those protest songs from the 60s.
Yes, Flip said, the Quakers who taught me in grade school might have had something to say about that song.
Yeah, well,
and,
Tom was trying to make a point that we were militarizing our youth with,
and, yeah.
you know.
Oh, and Pat said, I think, he said Smokey and the Bandit, and I think that may be a request.
Oh.
So I wrote it down.
Heard the lesson, heard the legend about Jesse James. John Henry, just to mention some names. Well, there's a truck driving legend in the South today, a man called the Bandit from Atlanta, GA. Every gear jammer knows his name. They swear he's got ice water running in his veins. He got a foot like lead, nerves like steel. He's gonna go to glory riding 18 wheels. He left Atlanta back in '63, hauling him a load up to Tennessee. He hit Monte Eagle in a driving rain, so hard he couldn't even see the passing lane. Well, he started down the grade when he lost a gear, hit them brakes, found he had no air. The Monte Eagle grade is steep and long, and everybody that seen it thought the Bandit was gone. Well, the truck jackknife turned completely around. He was coming down backward about the speed of sound. A lot of folks seen him, and they all say he had his head out the window yelling, "Clear the way." He made it to the bottom, safe and sound. Everybody asked the Bandit how he made it down. He said, "Folks, when the truck picked up too much speed, I run along beside it and drug my feet." You heard the lesson about Jesse James, John Henry, just to mention some names. Well, there's a truck driving legend in the South today, a man called the Bandit from Atlanta, GA. Every gear jammer knows his name. They swear he's got ice water running in his veins. He got a foot like lead, nerves like steel. He's gonna go to glory riding 18 wheels. There you go, Pat.
Yeah.
My goodness. All right. Or as the truckers would have said back then, mercy sakes. Good, buddy? Yeah. I was a ham operator back when the CB craze was big, and people didn't understand that you had to tune a transmitter to its antenna. So they'd, well, I ain't getting that hardly dog, and everything, and I'd go over and I'd make adjustments, and I was very popular. Made a lot of money doing that. I had a standing wave ratio meter and all the stuff that an amateur radio operator had. And then I realized I probably wasn't doing the public a great service by allowing these people to have a bigger mouth. So I quit.
Well,
but, even my mom got hooked into the CB craze. Boy, I'll tell you what, it was something.
Pat said, you got it.
Good. Let us see what we have next. Oh, yeah, this is fun. Here's a John Denver tune called Grandma's Feather Bed.
Oh.
When I was a little bitty boy just up off of the floor, we used to go out to Grandma's house every month or so. We had chicken pie and country ham and homemade butter on the bread. But the best darn thing about Grandma's house was a great big feather bed. It was 9 feet high and 6 feet wide and soft as a downy chick. It was made from the feathers of 4 to 11 geese. Took a whole bowl of cloth with a tick. It would hold 8 kids and 4 hound dogs and a piggy we stole from the shed. We didn't get much sleep, but we had a lot of fun on Grandma's feather bed. After supper we'd sit around a fire and the old folks would spit and chew. Pa would talk about the farm and the war and Granny'd sing a ballad or two. I'd sit and listen and watch the fire till the cobwebs filled my head. Next thing I know, I'd wake up in the morning in the middle of the old feather bed. It was 9 feet high and 6 feet wide and soft as a downy chick. It was made from the feathers of 4 to 11 geese. Took a whole bowl of cloth with a tick. It would hold 8 kids and 4 hound dogs and a piggy we stole from the shed. We didn't get much sleep, but we had a lot of fun on Grandma's feather bed. Well, I love my ma, love my pa, I love Granny and Grandpa too. I went fishing with my uncle, wrestled with my cousin, I even kissed Aunt Lou. But if I ever had to make a choice, I guess it ought to be said, I'd trade 'em all, plus a gal down the road for Grandma's feather bed. I'd trade 'em all, plus a gal down the road. Might have to reconsider about that gal down the road. It was 9 feet high, and I got the best gal down the road there is, so I don't really need to reconsider.
You're sweet.
It was 9 feet high and 6 feet wide and soft as a downy chick. It was made from the feathers of 4 to 11 geese. Took a whole bowl of cloth with a tick. It would hold 8 kids and 4 hound dogs and a piggy we stole from the shed. We didn't get much sleep, but we had a lot of fun on Grandma's feather bed. We didn't get much sleep, but we had a lot of fun on Grandma's feather bed.
I love that song.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Dan said 11 meters. Yikes.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
That's a big 10-4, good buddy.
that's what they used to say.
Man, you blowing my doors off.
So familiar.
Where are we here? Oh, okay. What time is it?
We have 1:49 here.
Oh, my. We need some extras. Write this down. Rabbit in a log. Little bluegrass for you here. It's kind of an extra. I didn't plan on this, so I don't know how it's going to come out. Rabbit in a log and I ain't got no dog. How will I get him? I know. Get me a briar and I'll twist it in his hair. That's how I'll get him, I know. I know, really I know. That's how I'll get him, I know. Get me a briar and I'll twist it in his hair. That's how I'll get him, I know. Build me a fire and I'll roast that old hare. Roll him in the flames nice and brown. Feasting at night while the moon shines so bright. I got no place to lie down. To lie down, to lie down, place to lie down. I got no place to lie down. Feasting at night while the moon shines so bright. I got no place to lie down. Walking down the track with a chicken on my back, soles on my shoes nearly gone. A little ways ahead there's an old farmer's shed. That's where I'll rest my weary bones. Weary bones, weary bones, lazy bones. That's where I'll rest my weary bones. A little ways ahead there's an old farmer's shed. That's where I'll rest my weary bones. Rabbit in a log and I ain't got no dog. How will I get him, I know. Get me a briar and I'll twist in his hair. That's how I'll get him, I know. I know, really I know. That's how I'll get him, I know. Get me a briar and I'll twist in his hair. That's how I'll get him, I know.
Pinky said, "Great fun, George. Love these oldies. Thank you." First hour went by like a flicker.
Thank you, Pinky. I hope you'll come back and join us again. It sure has been nice having you with us, and there's more to come. Yeah. We had a great time. If anybody else is out there who hasn't already done so, leave us a comment. Tell us who you are and where you're from. We'd love to know. Where you're from and a little bit about you. This is a visit. That's the way we look at it. If we could get all y'all together, we'd do it just this way. We wouldn't change it. It's just that we're separated by all these things, and I don't know if there's anything good that's come out of this COVID crisis. It's that so many of us have gotten to meet other musicians and other good friends that maybe we wouldn't have met at all. So it's certainly, apart from everything, all the terrible things that have happened, it's kind of a world changer. At least for me it is. 'Cause I really, I don't have any way to get out and see everybody, but every other Saturday people can drop in and visit with us a while. And we really love having each and every one of you. All right, here is a song that was done in 1969 by a country singer named Porter Wagoner, and it's called Big Wind. From daylight to dusk, we'd been working in the dust, picking cotton, working side by side. I can't forget, yes I remember yet, the way my daddy looked at me and cried. Big wind's coming, listen to the humming, hurry up son, be quick, don't stall. You know we can't be slow. Take the kids and get below. If we don't hurry, it'll surely get us all. I ran across the field, so scared my lips were sealed, to tell my mama a storm was on its way. I knew I'd won the race when I saw my mammy's face, the way that she looked at me and said, big wind's coming, listen to the humming. Hurry up, son, be quick, don't stall. You know we can't be slow. Take the kids and get below. If we don't hurry, it'll surely get us all. All but Dad were in the cellar. By now the sky was yeller. Wind was a-blowing, trees were a-falling. I could hear my daddy crying as he lay there dying. It seemed to me I still heard him calling, son, big wind's coming, listen to the humming. Hurry up, son, be quick, don't stall. You know we can't be slow. Take the kids and get below. If we don't hurry, it'll surely get us all. Big wind's coming. Yeah. We pay a lot of attention to big winds down here in Alabama, yes, because they come along and they can reduce you to 19th century life very, yes, very quickly. Happened to us on April 27th, 2011.
The whole north of Alabama went dark.
Alabama just went dark because the high tension lines from the power plants were knocked down. We were without power for 9 days, and people were scrambling for ice and food and fuel. It
we
got
had
rough.
Several tornadoes track through
Fortunately,
Mississippi and Alabama.
They missed us,
day.
But
they missed
that
us,
was a terrible day.
Yeah.
Here's a song that was written by Jack Clement and recorded by Johnny Cash. It's called "The One on the Right Was on the Left." There once was a musical troupe, a pickin', singin' folk group. They sang the mountain ballads and the folk songs of our land. They performed with great virtuosity, and soon there were the rage. But political animosity prevailed upon the stage. Now the one on the right was on the left, and the one in the middle was on the right, and the one on the left was in the middle, and the guy in the rear was a Methodist. This musical aggregation toured the entire nation, singing traditional ballads and the folk songs of our land. They performed with great virtuosity, and soon they were the rage. But political animosity prevailed upon the stage. Now the one on the right was on the left, and the one in the middle was on the right, and the one on the left was in the middle, and the guy in the rear burned his driver's license. Now the curtain had ascended, and a hush fell on the crowd, as thousands there were gathered to hear the folk songs of our land. But they took their politics seriously that night at the concert hall, as the audience watched deliriously. They had a free-for-all. Now the one on the right was on the bottom, and the one in the middle was on the top, and the one on the left got a broken arm, and the guy on his rear said, "Oh dear, Now let this be a lesson. If you plan to start a folk group, don't go mixing politics with the folk songs of our land. Just work on harmony and diction. Play your banjo well. And if you have political convictions, keep them to yourself. Now the one on the left works in a bank, and the one in the middle drives a truck, and the one on the right's an all-night DJ, and the guy in the rear got drafted.
I've always liked that one. Dan said, facial hair on a basketball-sized fruit. Facial hair, mustache on a melon.
Oh, I see.
It took me a minute. I had time.
Well, okay.
To think about it.
Why not? We've done this several times before.
Pat said great stuff.
Thanks, Pat. Since we're drinking wine and beer and things, it might be appropriate to do that today.
Indeed.
I almost didn't get it. Again, note that.
I did.
I'm asking her to pay attention to the ones we play that I didn't plan to play because I keep a database of all the songs that I've played and how many times I've played them, because I'm an old computer guy.
Right.
And I mean, it's data, right? I don't know if I'll ever use it for anything, but it's data. You know, you got to collect it. You got to keep it. So I keep track of all of that so that unless somebody requests a song, I don't repeat it, too often and things like that. So that's why we're actually doing that.
Dan didn't want to give. I did to him. Didn't want to give away the punchline, but couldn't remember the title. I see.
That's all right. Sorry, Dan.
I didn't realize.
I came home the other night. So, let's see, how does this go? I came home the other night, as drunk as I could be. Okay, I got it now. Been a while since I played it. I came home the other night as drunk as I could be, when I saw a horse in the stable where my horse ought to be. I asked my wife, my pretty little wife, to explain this thing to me. What's a horse doing in the stable where my horse ought to be? She said, you old fool, you drunken fool, can't you plainly see that ain't nothing but a milk cow my granny gave to me? Well, I traveled this whole world over, and I guess I'll travel more, but a saddle on a milk cow I've never seen before. I came home the other night as drunk as I could be, when I saw a hat on the hat rack where my hat ought to be. I asked my wife, my pretty little wife, to explain this thing to me. What's a hat doing on the hat rack where my hat ought to be? She said, you old fool, you drunken fool, can't you plainly see that ain't nothing but a chamber pot my granny gave to me? Well, I traveled this whole world over, and I guess I'll travel more, but a J.P. Stetson chamber pot I've never seen before. I came home the other night as drunk as I could be, when I saw some pants on a chair where my pants ought to be. I asked my wife, my pretty little wife, to explain this thing to me. What's pants doing on a chair where my pants ought to be? She said, you old fool, you drunken fool, fool, can't you plainly see? That ain't nothing but a dish rag my granny gave to me. I've traveled this whole world over, and I guess I'll travel more. But a zipper on a dish rag I've never seen before. I came home the other night as drunk as I could be, when I saw a head on the pillar where my head ought to be. I asked my wife, my pretty little wife, to explain this thing to me. What's a head doing on the pillow where my head ought to be? She said, you old fool, you drunken fool, can't you plainly see? That ain't nothing but a melon my granny gave to me. I traveled this whole world over, and I guess I traveled more. But a mustache on a melon I never seen before.
Pat said, you get you. And also, do know that's something different. And Dan said, love it, thanks.
That is actually an old Irish song. Dan is my brother. Actually, he's my brother-in-law, but as far as I'm concerned, we're just brothers from different mothers. He is Lynn's brother.
Yes.
And their father, Stan, was just the greatest guy in the world. He just was. And he heard that song somewhere, and he wanted me to play it. And he finally found a recording of it, and I played that version ever since. But it's actually an old Irish drinking song. I got an album from back when we were entering the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes every week trying to get rich. I got an album, a CD of Irish drinking songs, and it was on that.
Yeah, we did get some
in a little bit
merchandise.
different. Oh yeah, we got some good stuff out of there.
Yeah.
I don't feel put upon at all. But anyway,
No, I thought that was really a good collection.
so it's
really.
it's actually an old song, and I don't even know who recorded the version that I'm doing, because Stan brought it to me on a cassette. So anyway, there you go, Dan. Glad to do it for you.
Pat said yes. I think about it being Irish. After you made that comment about the song being Irish.
Mm-hmm. All right. Here is a song that was done by the Chad Mitchell Trio, and I think it's one of the funniest songs of the protest era that I've ever heard, but I've always kind of been hesitant to play it, but I'm going to play it this time, and hopefully I won't chase anybody away. It's called Yowza. Now, it wasn't too very long ago, some folks walked with a hidey-ho, and other folks walked around kind of low saying yowza. And sure enough, and yes, boss. It was ashes to ashes and dust to dust. They didn't believe in making no fuss. Just kept on moving to the back of the bus saying yowza. And sure enough, and yes sir, boss. Yeah, they perspired and they expired, and still they never got no higher. As a matter of fact, they got sort of tired of saying yowza. And sure enough, and yes, boss. So they went out and they done a little praying, a little arm waving, a little bit of swaying. Still in all, they kept right on saying, yowza. And sure enough, and yes, boss. They were still shining shoes, still frying chicken, still washing floors and watermelon picking, till finally they got damn sick of saying yowza. And sure enough, yes, boss. So they went out and they done a little standing, a little less asking, a lot more demanding, a little more thinking and demonstrating, a little less hoping and a little less waiting. Yeah, and a little less lifting and a little less toting and a lot more writing and a lot more voting. And a lot more marching and a lot more walking till hardly anybody at all was talking like yowza. And sure enough, and yes, boss. Now the moral of my story is plain to see. They finally achieved equality. Like you and me, they stand up strong and free and they say, yes, sir. Well, of course, sir. Anything you say, JB. Tom Paxton's song from his Good News album along about 1966 or so.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, Ziggy said the video got frozen, restarting the browser. Firefox brought you to life again. I hope I have not missed too much.
Oh, well,
That's a bummer.
I'm sorry that happened to you, Ziggy. And, of course, all of these are still up. I don't take them down. Good, bad, or indifferent. You can follow our evolution from total amateurs with a laptop computer and its built-in webcam to where we are today.
Falling down background.
Yeah, we've had all kinds of things happen to us.
My Great Dane knocked it down.
Sadie.
Yes, and Dan said, what's the actual title of that thing? Meaning the mustache on a melon.
I don't know.
I was trying to remember.
I really don't know, Dan.
I don't know either.
I if anybody knows, let us know.
I thought that was the title, but it wouldn't make sense that it was, because it does kind of give it away.
Yeah, that's not the title, but that's how I have it in my
Brenda
list.
Hale, yes, we had video probs. Phone overheated. You are too hot.
Oh, dear.
Oh, my. Is that what it is?
You heat up my cell phone. Oh, goodness. Well, I'm glad you're back, Bren.
Yeah, we didn't realize we had lost folks. Hope that doesn't happen to anyone else. You cannot predict what the internet will do. 7 Drunken Nights, the Dubliners.
Yeah, that's probably right. I was that from Pat?
Brenda.
Oh, from Brenda. Okay. Thanks,
yes,
Bren.
That's the name.
Pat brought up that group, and I've got to find some of their music and see it. Seems kind of blasphemous for an American Southerner to sing Irish music, but I might give it a shot. Here's a song by John Prine.
Bob phone nearly melted, so changed to my phone.
Oh,
that was Brenda, and then Hillary said the drinking song is called 7 Drunken Nights and Other Variations.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
7. Write that down because I'm going to change it in my database.
Yes, now
then
you
I
have
won't
it,
remember
said
what
Pat.
it's about. But all right.
Pat said, "Now you have." Yes.
Yes, indeed, we have it now. Here's a song by John Prine called "Hello in There." Have an apartment in the city. Me and Loretta like living there. It's been years since the kids were grown, a life of their own left us alone. John and Linda lived in Omaha. Joe is somewhere on the road. We lost Davy in the Korean War. I still don't know what for. Don't matter anymore. You know, trees just grow stronger. Old rivers grow wilder every day. Old people just grow lonesome, waiting for someone to say hello in there. Hello. Me and Loretta, we don't talk much more. She sits and stares through the back door screen. All the news just repeats itself like some forgotten dream that we both seen. Someday I'll go and call up Rudy. We work together in the factory. What'll I say when he asks what's new? Nothing, what's with you? Nothing much to do. You know, trees just grow stronger. Old rivers grow wilder every day. Old people just grow lonesome, waiting for someone to say hello in there. Hello. If you're walking down the street sometime, spot some hollow ancient eye, please don't pass 'em by and stare like you didn't care. Say hello in there. Hello. Say hello in there.
Now, Philippa added that was sung by the Body Balladeers, also,
yeah,
not just the Dubliners.
Right.
And Pat said, great Irish ballads, and they go back a long time. Some have passed away. Great singers.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Indeed. I don't know exactly. Well, I wasn't real popular with my peers when I was a teenager because I was blind. And I tended to spend a lot of time with older folks in our neighborhood. I'd sit on their front porches and I'd listen to them tell stories, and I think I was a better person for that because I learned a lot of lessons that I'd have had to learn the hard way if I hadn't known those folks. And they taught me a lot. There was great wisdom there. And I'm always glad, it would have been fun to be with my peers, but I feel that I actually handled life a lot better given my disability and everything than they would have, because I had all these people telling me, no matter how bad life seems today, if you work on it, you can make it better tomorrow.
They had seen
Just
that.
because what you got now is what you got now doesn't mean that's what you've always got. When we were in the Depression, we had a tar paper shack, and look, we got a nice house now, and all these things. And there was wisdom there. There really was.
Brenda said, love that song by John Prine, so sad. And Pinky also said first, beautiful Johnny Prine.
Yes,
we
indeed.
love John.
Rest in peace.
Yes. And Pat said, yes, get you.
Smoking that 7-mile Camel cigarette in heaven.
Well,
He did a song about that.
Did
When he
he?
got to heaven, he was going to
And
smoke a
smoke it.
cigarette 7 miles long.
I didn't know that song. I hadn't heard that one.
Here's
And Philip said, I agree, George. I spent a lot of time with older folks because my grandmother moved us so often.
Mm-hmm. Here's a song that was written by Harlan Howard and was recorded by Johnny Cash in 1963 on his Blood, Sweat, and Tears album. And you wonder if even back then he was hanging out with the Carter family, because this song was actually recorded with an Autoharp. And it's called When You're Busted. Let's see now. The bills are all due, and the babies need shoes, but I'm busted. Cotton is down to a quarter a pound, and I'm busted. I got a cow that went dry, and the hen that won't lay. A big stack of bills that gets bigger each day. The county will haul our belongings away, but I'm busted. I went to my brother to ask for a loan. I was busted. I hate to beg like a dog for a bone, but I'm busted. My brother said there ain't a thing I can do. My wife and my kids are all down with the flu, and I was just thinking of calling on you, 'cause I'm busted. Lord, I'm no thief, but a man can go wrong when he's busted. The food that we canned last summer is gone, and I'm busted. The fields are all bare, and the cotton won't grow. Me and my family gotta pack up and go. Where I'll make a living, the Lord only knows, 'cause I'm busted. And those chords, that's what they recorded on the album. The rest of it was all guitars and stuff, but the Autoharp got to wang away a little bit there.
That's nice.
Yeah, I did a parody of that in our parodies. Ben Calder did a parody of that. It was pretty funny too. Let's see what we have next. Here's another song by the Chad Mitchell Trio. It's called My Name is Morgan. Well, my name... How'd it go here? Okay. Well, my name is Willie Morgan, and I'm a hard enough working man. motto of my whole life has been be as thrifty as you can. I never use a FedEx envelope when a first-class stamp will do. And if you ask me for $1 or two, well, here's what I say to you. My name is Morgan, but it ain't JP. Ain't got no banks in this world that are named for me. My money is in my pocket and in AT&T. My name is Morgan, but it ain't JP. I went down to the grocery store just to pick up an item or two. I had no need for a grocery cart, just a little paper bag would do. I had to wait for an hour or more just to get a chance to pay. The man added up a figure and he held in his hand and I nearly fainted away. My name is Morgan, but it ain't JP. Ain't got no banks in this world that are named for me. My money is in my pocket and in AT&T. My name is Morgan, but it ain't JP. I took my gal to a Broadway show that the whole town wanted to see. The taxi cost me $15. It didn't mean a thing to me. I stepped up to that ticket booth and I laid my money down. Well, he said these seats are $100 each. You could hear me all over this town. My name is Morgan, but it ain't JP. Ain't got no banks in this world that are named for me. My money is in my pocket and in AT&T. My name is Morgan, but it ain't JP. I went walking down Bleecker Street with my lady friend, her name was Sue. Keeping her out of them fancy shops was about all that I could do. She squealed with joy at a marvelous toy in the window of an antique shop. When the little old lady quoted the price, I thought my heart would stop. My name is Morgan, but it ain't JP. Ain't got no banks in this world that are named for me. My money is in my pocket and in AT&T. My name is Morgan, but it ain't JP. I said it's Morgan, but it ain't JP.
Brenda said Bob knows a lot of your songs and has got a library of old LPs. And then also Brenda said Bob asks, do you know Reap the Harvest of Love by Benny Hill?
I don't. Is that the Benny Hill that does the slapstick comedy and stuff?
I think so, because Pat said, yes, I miss Benny Hill, and he was on the BBC. He was very funny.
Yeah, my father loved that guy.
I remember that.
He was a fan of the Three Stooges. He loved slapstick comedy. And I couldn't relate to it because it was all visual. Write that down.
I did, and Pinky says, thanks for the tunes, George. I have to run now. Lynn, love the top you were wearing. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Pinky. Please come back and see us again. We'll be here in 2 weeks.
She said, has been a delightful old downtime, very much needed for me today. Thanks a bunch. Hugs to Alabama. Hugs to you too.
Anytime, Pinky. We're here every other Saturday at this time. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. So the next one, the next show will be probably on the 29th of May. And we'd love to have you come back and tell your friends about us.
Yes, definitely.
If you know somebody who might like this kind of thing, we'd just love to meet new people. And thanks for stopping by.
And Pat said that Brenda takes me back, and yes.
Indeed.
But we have a great time. We enjoy all of you guys coming
by. We do. You're good friends, yes. Even though we've never met and we're worlds apart. This
I don't think we're worlds apart.
This modern technology has brought us together, and all. Here is a song that was done in 1957 by Stonewall Jackson. It's called Waterloo. Waterloo, Waterloo, where will you meet your Waterloo? Every puppy has its day, everybody has to pay, everybody has to meet his Waterloo. Poor old Adam was the first in history with an apple. He was tempted and deceived just for spite. The devil made him take a bite, and that's where old Adam met his Waterloo. Waterloo, Waterloo, where will you meet your Waterloo? Every puppy has its day, everybody has to pay, everybody has to meet his Waterloo. Now General Napoleon of France tried to conquer the world but lost his pants, met defeat, known as Bonaparte's retreat, and that's where Napoleon met his Waterloo. Waterloo, Waterloo, where will you meet your Waterloo? Every puppy has its day, everybody has to pay, everybody has to meet his Waterloo. Now a feller whose darling proved untrue took her life, but he lost his too. Now he swings where the little birdies sing, and that's where Tom Dooley met his Waterloo. Waterloo, Waterloo, where will you meet your Waterloo? Every puppy has its day, everybody has to pay, everybody has to meet his Waterloo.
And Pat said great song, and Pinky, okay, will do, and Pat, very old Good song deal. And love it.
Thank you very much. Let's see here.
Likes and loves going up.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's nice. I don't get to see those.
Yeah, we've had several. Pat said, have not heard for a long time that Waterloo song. Had not heard it for a long time.
Yeah. Here's another one you may not have heard for a long time. I don't know who wrote it. Every bluegrass group in creation has done it. It's called The Wreck of Old 97. They gave him his orders in Monroe, Virginia, saying, Steve, you're way behind time. This is not 38, but it's old 97. You must put her in dispenser on time. And they turned around and said to the black greasy fireman, shovel on a little more coal. And when we cross that wide open mountain, you can watch old 97 roll. It's a long, long way from Danville to Lynchburg on the line. There's a 3-mile grade. It was on that grade that he lost his air brakes. You could see what a jump that he made. He was going down that grade making 90 miles an hour. The whistle broke into a scream. He was found in the wreck with his hand on the throttle, scalded to death by the steam. A telegram came to Washington Station, and this is what it read. Oh, that brave engineer that run old 97 is lying in old Danville dead. Now all you ladies from me take a warning from this time on and learn. Never speak harsh words to your true loving husband. He may leave you and never return. Wreck of the old 97.
Pat said, yes, also good. And then Ziggy said, I hope George sings also the last verse with the moral for the wives.
Yeah, that's what I thought we did.
He was writing that before you got to the end.
I see. Okay.
He didn't type that after. He typed that before.
Yes, indeed.
And Ziggy said, thanks, and Pat said, that's the man.
Thanks, Pat. Well, we appreciate all of you hanging in there. If anybody hasn't commented and you'd like to, please do. Let us know where you're from and who you are.
Yes.
You know, we like to know who our friends are, for sure. All right.
We were at 2:37.
We may have to add a song or two. If anybody thinks of something they'd like to hear.
I have one a request from Pat about Boxcar Willie, but he didn't say anybody in particular.
Yeah.
He may have meant that about Boxcar Willie when he said that's the man.
Well, Boxcar Willie did this song. He's one of the many people who did it.
Yeah, that's where I went wrong. Sorry about that, Pat. I didn't understand what you meant, but I got it now. He's the one who... That's what... Okay.
Here's a song from 1957 done by a group called the Browns. It's called The Three Bells. There's a village hidden deep in the valley, among the pine trees half forlorn. And there on a Sunday morning, little Jimmy Brown was born. Just a lonely bell was ringing in the little valley town, and the song that it was singing was for baby Jimmy Brown. And the little congregation prayed for guidance from above. Lead us not into temptation, bless this our meditation of that great eternal love. There's a village hidden deep in the valley, beneath the mountain high above. And there, 20 years thereafter, Jimmy was to meet his love. All the chapel bells were ringing. It was a great day in his life. And the songs that they were singing was for Jimmy and his wife. And the little congregation prayed for guidance from above. Lead us not into temptation. Bless, O Lord, this celebration. May their lives be filled with love. In the village, hidden deep in the valley, one rainy morning, dark and gray, a soul winged its way to heaven. Jimmy Brown had passed away. Just a lonely bell was ringing in the little valley town. 'Twas farewell that it was singing for our good old Jimmy Brown. And the little congregation guidance from above. Lead us not into temptation. May his soul find its salvation in thy great eternal love.
I have Pat saying yes to what we were saying before about Boxcar Willie.
Okay.
And also he said Jim Reeves, and I'm not...
Jim Reeves did it. Jim and Jesse did it. Flat and Scruggs did it. Everybody did it.
Hillary wants to know, have you sung the Proper Copper Coffee Pot recently? And
no, but I will do it next week.
And Benji said, how about Hiram's Homemade Beer? And then I have a Ziggy, I made up my mind to play tonight at Libby's, the Caribbean Suite, again, that Bob Hale mentioned.
Oh, great!
And what about playing Foggy Mountain Breakdown in exchange?
In exchange?
For tonight. You play that one.
Okay, well...
You play that one in exchange.
Amber, if you're around...
Well, he means tonight at the...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you play that in exchange for...
In exchange?
Yeah.
Sure, I'll play it. I've played it once before, but I'll play it again.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Make a note of that, if you would.
Okay.
I would absolutely lose my head if it weren't for Miss Linda. Now, that's all there is to it.
And so we have Benji requested Hiram, and then there, of course, is the Proper Copper Coffee Pot. You said next week.
I'll look into it. I might do it this week. Which one of those was first, Hiram or a Proper Copper? I think a Proper Copper was first.
Copper, but you said you were doing that next week.
I know, but hey, we got time. A sultan sat on his oriental mat in his harem in downtown Persia. He took a sip of coffee, just a drip, and he said to his servant, curse ya. Oh, curse ya, curse ya, curse ya. That's the worst cup of coffee in Persia. 'Cause you can sing along with this. Here's your part, okay? This is your part. All I want is a proper cup of coffee made in a proper copper coffee pot. I may be off my dot, but I want a proper coffee in a proper copper pot. Iron coffee pots and tin coffee pots, they are no use to me. If I can't have a proper cup of coffee in a proper copper coffee pot, I'll have a cup of tea. Bonaparte found that he was in the cart when he lost that Waterloo fight. No, wait a minute. That's not the right verse. In days of old, when knights and men were bold and whiskey was much cheaper, Ben Turpin rode to a coffee shop and showed his pistols to the keeper. And he said, "Stand and deliver. Can't you see I'm all a quiver? Cause..." All right, I want to hear you sing now. All I want is a proper cup of coffee made in a proper cup of coffee pot. I may be off my dot, but I want a proper coffee in a proper copper pot. Iron coffee pots and tin coffee pots, they are no use to me. If I can't have a proper cup of coffee in a proper copper coffee pot, I'll have a cup of tea. Now Bonaparte found that he was in the cart when he lost that Waterloo fight. He gave his sword to Wellington, my lord, and he said, "You British can't have fight." Now I'm here at Waterloo, sir. Tell me, what am I having with you, sir? 'Cause all I want is a proper cup of coffee made in a proper cup of coffee pot. I may be off my dot, but I want a proper coffee in a proper copper pot. Iron coffee pots and tin coffee pots, they are no use to me. If I can't have a proper cup of coffee in a proper cup of coffee pot, I'll have a cup of tea. King Solomon and his queen would carry on, so we read in the ancient scandals. He gave her lots of silver coffee pots with diamond legs and handles, and said the Queen of Sheba, "I'd rather have any old tea bag." 'Cause, all right, come on. This is your last chance now. I'm going to give you a couple of choruses of this. I want you to sing with me now. All I want is a proper cup of coffee made in a proper cup of coffee pot. I may be off my dot, but I want a proper coffee in a proper copper pot. Iron coffee pots and tin coffee pots, they are no use to me. If I can't have a proper cup of coffee in a proper cup of coffee pot, I'll have a cup of tea. All I want is a proper cup of coffee made in a proper cup of coffee pot. I may be off my dot, but I want a proper coffee in a proper copper pot. Iron coffee pots and tin coffee pots, they are no use to me. If I can't have a proper cup of coffee in a proper cup of coffee pot, I'll have a cup of tea. All I want is a proper cup of coffee made in a proper cup of coffee pot. I may be off my dot, but I want a proper coffee in a proper cup of pot. Iron coffee pots and tin coffee pots, they are no use to me. If I can't have a proper cup of coffee in a proper cup of coffee pot, I'll have a cup of tea. All I want is a proper cup of coffee made in a proper cup of coffee pot. I may be off my dot, but I want a proper coffee in a proper cup of pot. Iron coffee pots and tin coffee pots, they are no use to me. If I can't have a proper cup of coffee in a proper cup of coffee pot, I'll have a cup of tea.
Whew, I couldn't keep up with you when you were slow. Heart going up. Among other many things going up, hearts and likes, and
All right.
looked like fireworks there.
Oh my goodness.
Now, let's
Now, what was
see.
the other one? Oh,
This
Hiram's.
Wait a minute though, because we've had now on the Foggy Mountain Breakdown. Ziggy said now or later, and then Benji said Amber says yes to Foggy Mountain. Pat said would be all right. And I think he means that one, but I'm not sure. But anyway, now we have several requests for that one.
Okay.
And also we have a request for Hiram.
Okay.
And Benji.
Ziggy, I am at your service, sir.
You should play it now.
Do you want me? I can play it now and tonight.
That's what you should do.
Is that what I should do?
I vote for that, yes.
Okay. I have played it there before, but that's all right. People, And you may have a nice surprise tonight, Ziggy. I'm not going to go into it, but you may have a nice surprise. All right, let's see. Write down all the songs we're playing extra so I can. So a proper cup of coffee needs to be written down. This song was done. Oh heck. Let's play Foggy Mountain Breakdown first. Benji requested the other one first, but Amber's there. Amber is my daughter, by the way, who is a librarian at our local public library. And she was out today at a small town festival here in Arab called the Polk Salad Festival. Amber, I hope that went good for you.
Polk Salad Festival, yes.
Yeah.
They have that every year. And lots of artisans and vendors come, and there's a lot of activities for everyone. And
Polk salad is a green that is really good this time of year. If you pick it too late, it'll kill you.
yeah, that's
So I don't know who had that idea. But anyway, here is Foggy Mountain Breakdown, which was originally recorded in 1949. Make you grin.
yes. Benji said, "You have got faster," and then you went faster. And Brenda said, "Brilliant playing, George." And Benji said, "Okay, really faster." And Ziggy said, "George's Foggy Mountain Breakdown shows what for we got 4 fingers per hand."
Not one finger ever left my hand
That's
either.
right.
Actually, I play with all 5. Here, I'll do it. need all five. You need all five hands.
Hillary said, "Great playing, George."
Thank you. All right. Here's a song. We played it either the last show or the show before, but I love this song. This was my signature tune. I opened when I was playing bar gigs back when I was in my 20s and thought I could, tear the world apart. This was the song I opened with. It's by Dick Feller, and it's called Uncle Hiram and the Homemade Beer. Well, I was just a boy at the time when this drinking Uncle Hiram of mine decided he'd make up a batch of homemade beer. Don't tell a soul, he said to me, but I've come across this recipe that says for pennies a day I can drink all year. So I searched the alleys behind the bars for empty jugs and mason jars, and he sneaked them down to his basement brewery. He measured out yeast and sugar and hops, and he said to me as we sealed the tops, "For goodness sake, don't tell your Aunt Marie." He'd say, "Hey there, Hiram, what's going on down there? There's some peculiar odor coming up the basement stairs. Go on back to your sewing, hon, I'm varnishing a chair." The time my Uncle Hiram made his famous homemade beer. Well, we let her sit for a month or so, and me and Uncle sneaked down below, figuring it was about time to give it a try. I was standing there at the foot of the stairs, and Uncle Hiram was checking the wares, and all of a sudden 2 bottles just flew sky high. Well, the jars went crash, the lids went clunk, and Hiram dived behind the trunk as the beer began to spew out on the floor. Uncle yelled, "Don't mind me, save yourself!" As fast as I could, I ran up the steps, and out of breath I quickly slammed the door. Aunt Marie cried out, "What is it, dear?" And I said, "It's Uncle's homemade beer. It's blowing up and got Uncle trapped down there." She said, "Beer, beer, I declare, Hiram, you come up out of there." But the sound of exploding beer was all we could hear. "Hey there, Hiram, what's going on down there? There's some peculiar odor coming up the basement stairs. Going back to your sewing, hon, I'm varnishing a chair." The time my Uncle Hiram made his famous homemade beer. It sounded like a war for a day and a night. Them bottles just blew up left and right, till finally we just heard one here and there. Aunt Marie took a comforter and holding it up in the front of her with me behind, we went on down the stairs. The place was a mess, to say the least. The walls were sticky and it smelled like yeast, and the glass and the lids and the beer were all around. It had been quite a battle, there weren't no doubt, but when we commenced to looking about, Uncle Hiram was nowhere to be found. Auntie cried out, "Hiram, oh poor dear, he's been killed by a jar of beer. I warned him I'd drink, but he never listens to me." Then up pops the lid on the antique trunk, and there, soaked in beer, blind running drunk, was the late lamented love of Aunt Marie. And he said, "Rather see it all go to waste. I figured I might as well give it a little taste. I reckon I tasted about 43 jars of beer." Y'all just go on, 'cause I'm staying right here. Hey there, Hiram, what's going on down there? There's some peculiar odor coming up the basement stairs. Going back to your sewing, hon, I'm varnishing the chair. The time my Uncle Hiram made his famous homemade beer.
Ivan said, "Thanks for a very pleasant afternoon of music," and he's got a waving hand. I don't know if that means he has to.
Thanks, Ivan. You take care, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Well,
and we'll see you tonight too.
Yes.
Yeah, but
and, now Brenda said, "Bob suggests Roger Miller, the day I jumped from Uncle
oh
Harvey's
my goodness,
plane." And that would be We love that.
I love that song.
And Pat said, take care, you guys. So he may also
He may be heading out. All right,
so
Pat. It was great to see you, and we appreciate you coming. Hope you'll come next time and many times after, and bring a friend or two.
And it is 2:59, so I don't know if you want to sing for Brenda and Bob. The Uncle Harvey's Plane.
Oh, I love that song.
The Day I Jumped from... Dan said, always a favorite. Thanks for playing that.
You're welcome.
We love that one, too.
Well, me and Oliver and Virgil were in the drugstore killing time when my eyes fell upon a magazine. I got to reading this article about skydiving and parachutes. Said jumping out of airplanes is the thing. Being raised down on a farm, always looking for adventure, I knew that I could figure out a way. I thought, well, Delmer Gill's got a parachute. Uncle Harvey's got an airplane. I said, call the boys together. Today's the day. Well, I found out too late that what Harvey called an airplane wasn't nothing but an engine and a wing. Oh, I'm sorry,
we might have
I lost
to do
the
that
lyrics.
one next time.
Nothing
It is
but an airplane and a wing. And I could feel my fear arise and found it.
There you go.
When Delmer packed the parachute, he kept telling me I was doing the right thing. Rhonda Blockman shook my hand as J.D. strapped me in that harness, and Tilden brought a jug and passed it around. I took one look at that parachute, that whiskey, and that airplane, and I tipped that bottle up and drank it down. I was drunker than Cooter Jones when they poured me in that plane. The engine coughed and headed for the clouds. But I was sober as a judge when Harvey opened up that door, and I'd never known my heart could beat so loud. I said, Harvey, I can't do it, as he kicked me out the door, and I wrapped my hands around the landing gear. And I was holding on real good till Harvey stepped upon my fingers, and the boys all heard me scream from way up there. Well, I thank God and Delmer Gill when my parachute finally opened. I thought, hell, there ain't no need to be afraid. And I went crashing through the hen house, scattering chickens and breaking eggs, and I kissed the ground and fainted dead away. Well, now, friends, I fought some battles, been shot at a time or two, and a darn near got run over by a train. But I cannot remember ever being more afraid than the day I jumped from Uncle Harvey's plane. There you go.
All right. And Benji said, next time need to do the one with the talking dog. And Ziggy said, thanks very much, George and Lynn, for, again, a very enjoyable concert with a heart. And see you again in about 3.5 hours.
Indeed, sir. Get some rest. We'll see you. Can't wait to hear your Caribbean suite.
And Pat said, so hard for me. You do make my night.
Thank you.
Pat. That's good. That's good.
All right. Let me get back on track here.
Well, it's after 3. We have 3:04.
3:04.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know what else you had there.
Well, I had...
But we played enough requests now that I think...
Yeah, we might want to just...
yeah.
I want to play this. I worked on this really hard.
Brenda says, thanks for that.
Here's a song by Simon and Garfunkel. It's probably their signature tune. It's called Sound of Silence. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, beneath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs that voices never share. No one dares disturb the sound of silence. They said, you do not know, like a cancer grow. Hear the words that I might teach you, take my arms that I might reach you, but my words like silent raindrops fell, echoed in the wells of silence. And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made, and the sign flashed out its warning in the words that it was forming. And the sign said, the words of the prophet are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, echo in the sound of silence.
Wow. Wow.
Didn't know you could play that on the Autoharp. And I happened to hear it the other day and said, man, I can...
You certainly can play that.
I can do that.
Hillary said, lovely session, thank you. And I did read that Brenda said thanks for that on the Harvey's Plane that you played for her and
folks,
for Bob. And then I had Philippa, thanks, George, been enjoying it. And Pat said, my mother, not good. So we will keep her in our prayers.
Oh, we certainly will.
And then Philippa said, keep playing, George, you're on a roll. And Pat said, yes, very good. And Lavonda, love this song, and to hear you sing it is wonderful. Pat said Simon and Garfunkel, and also very good song. And Benji said, I think it's Higher Education of Old Blue.
Oh, okay, I know the one you mean.
Yeah, and then Philippa, old favorite.
Yeah. We are really running out of time. I've got a couple of songs left here, and if you will write that down, Lynn.
Yeah.
Ben, if you'll come back next time, I will play that just for you. I want to thank everybody for coming. If you can, I'd appreciate it if you'd put something in our virtual tip jar. The crawler is at the bottom of the screen. It's autoharp.down.home at gmail.com on PayPal. Every penny that you donate is going to go one way or another into getting me to the Mountain Laurel Autoharp Gathering in 2022. And if my health fails or for some other reason I can't go, I will donate all of the proceedings, everything you've generously donated, to the Mary Lou Orthy Scholarship Fund so that someone else can go. I really appreciate all the support. You've been very generous. I really, really appreciate it. If you could drop something in there, please do. And if you can't, hey, that's okay too. We're still friends.
Of course.
And I want to thank everybody for coming today, and hope you will share this with friends, and bring some of your friends along. Yes. Unless, of course, you're embarrassed.
No.
But no, really, it's been a great day, and we kind of jumped out of my planned cuts list here, and this has been one of the best shows we've done in a while.
I had a great time.
And I really want to thank everybody for coming. We will be back on the 29th of May, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.
Yeah.
And you never know what we'll get into, and you all take care.
Dan said, Lyndon, I really enjoyed your show. Thanks as always. And Benji said, sounds good on playing the
yeah, I'll play it for you next time, Ben.
Higher education.
We're over time, or I would play it now.
And Pat said that's who sang it. He was talking about, and we're the ones, he also said. But I think that harkens back to Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah, I do too. Okay.
So, but thank you, Pat, and
indeed, and thank you, everybody, for coming. This has been really fun.
Good friends, good times.
And here's my signature exit tune. Well, now it's time to say goodbye to George and all his kin. We'd sure like to thank you folks for kindly dropping in. You're all invited back real soon to this locality to have a heaping helping of our hospitality. Down home, that is. Set a spell. Take your shoes off. Y'all come back now here.